Take two.
Hello.
Take two. We're on. Y'all missed the whole intro.
Oh,
You missed all of the jokes.
Oh man, you can't top that one too, man.
That's watching 100%. It's too bad that we just went live now.
My intro was, this was the after show of just because I haven't been on in a while. I missed everything today. What's happening? What's going on?
I don't know.
What do y'all up to?
I know what's going on. I know what I'm going to say, but I'm holding off actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I let these guys talk first before I said what I was going to say. But I'll tell you what I was going to say. You want to?
Well,
you guys want to hear what I was going to say? I'm going to come.
Oh,
both girls.
We got 9 people right now. I think they all left us, but that's fine. I didn't know.
Let me buckle in.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Let me buckle in here.
All right.
No, honestly, that was brilliant what you did, Matt. That was absolutely brilliant. I've been waiting for years for that. The way you articulated that, the way you addressed that, it was brilliant, man. I'm just so proud of you. We're like so proud. You're you. That's the biggest thing.
Well,
and that you're doing what you're doing, and you're doing what you do, instead of the other way around, which is what most other people have a problem with.
Well, I've been advised not to do this. Just keep my head down, worry about myself. But man, it's just like, you're at work. You know what's bothering me? And people go, "Well, you're so angry. Why are you so upset? Why is it so personal?" Is because I'm lumped in. I like doing what we're doing, but I go to work, and then the water cooler talk starts on a Thursday, Friday. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Go out in the green swamp, I guess. Oh, looking for Bigfoot again with all your losers, huh? It's like, and that just gets old after a while. It just really, I go, no, I'm actually just going out, and I'm stealing a line from Mike, and I say, no, I'm going out to enjoy nature. And yes, I'm taking some sophisticated camera gear, and yes, I have an awareness of what I want to do and what I want to find and whether or not I'm going to be prepared if something happens. But it's really just, I like being out in the woods, and I'm trying to just keep it at that level and not try to make a video every time. It was fun going out yesterday by myself again for the first time in a while and walk through that area that, oh my gosh, that grass, you get a half mile back in there and you think you're way in there. I was like, wow, it's pretty hairy back there. And that was an area that I'm working, and I haven't pushed up that far in that area, but it's a cool area. But I just wanted to get it off my chest.
But the way you did it was brilliant. It was great, absolutely great educational. I don't know if the chat really got what level it was at. I hope they did. But again, it's good because now I can send people. Actually, I think I posted your show live on 4 different sites as you were going there, and that's the thing is it was from our perspective watching what you did with that video and how you articulated and built on everything that came before and how you got to where you are and your natural personality. You're a trustworthy guy, man. I'm sorry to tell you that. Quit worrying about not being that, but you are. You're very trustworthy. I don't think you're in any form or way or anything like that. I think you're pretty solid, even though you're freaked out. Like
well, the main thing is the point I wanted to make, though, is I don't know what people with channels are going to do. Like I said, they're out in the woods more than I am. Great. I'm envious of that. I'm envious that people doing this full time are out there all the time. I wish I could do it. But what's going to happen is they're going to catch something, and I'm not going to look. I'm not going to be there to look because I don't buy anything.
No, I don't agree.
Yeah,
what you've shown in the past has always been, you might not agree and you might not even say anything, but you're not necessarily going to drink the Kool-Aid at the same time because you can't. Yeah. I mean, what amazes me is, my God, when I first met you, I thought this guy, there's a part of you that's like me in regards to how you view things. And like you said, that, and for you to kind of get that about 2 years ago when you got pissed at me and all that other kind of stuff and all those other kind of things, all that growth you did through those periods. But when you were in the bush with other people and you're starting to scratch your own head going, well, I'm not too sure about the people, let alone the Sasquatch question. I mean, it's been brilliant to watch a guy that, I mean, I really like your channel. I think you're dead on. Everything you're doing is dead on. And then quit second guessing yourself if you did watch that video. You're dead on. Stay on track. Stay what you're doing.
No. This is a huge departure. I just wanted to kind of let people know, because I just feel like this train is going down the road unchecked, and it's just not fair.
It's going off the track is what it is, man.
It's off the track, and it's found new wheels, and it's rolling, and it's just like, and nobody seems to want to check it or put something in check. And I don't want to go after people. So I thought, well, I can prove it by just making images myself. And maybe if people realize how easy it is to do that crap, you know, hey, pay me $2.99 and I'll put a private website up, and you can go look at shit all day long.
Yeah, totally.
I'll give you shit on a stick for $2.99, and you know, it's like, it's not even good shit.
I know.
Sorry.
But, you know, my $1.99 on this whole thing here. I'll throw in my $1.99 here, Matt. Look, first of all, I second and totally go ditto on what Leon just said, man. And when you said you were going to do this show, I was like, oh, cool, man. I was excited because, you know, I was like, you know, this needs to stop. And to repeat a little bit of what Leon said, look, I don't think everybody might have gotten the point, but that's okay. I mean, not everybody.
You could rewatch it,
point,
you know.
But,
people could rewatch it, you know. It's like watching The Sixth Sense again, you know. You got to watch it from a different perspective.
And I understand people like, you know, but some of the people, and I love the people that watch all of our channels, man. Those are the people that, you know, they come to our channels for a reason, and I love them. That's great. But you know, I've heard the same thing, Matt. Why are you getting so upset about it, Joe? Just let it go, man. It's, you know, but the thing is that this, you know, this needs to be done, man, because look, because this kind of stuff is actually doing damage to legitimate Bigfoot investigation. And there is such a thing as legitimate Bigfoot investigation. And this stuff keeps going on and on and on, and everybody wants to let it pass by. Now, granted, I think some of that is because a good majority of the people that are looking at all this stuff, they just want to be entertained. They don't care about whether Bigfoot's real or not. And, you know, but for us, that stuff, you know, the people that are really looking for the true answers and want to keep the shit real, to us, you know, this is why people from the outside are looking in and looking at all of us going, these people are freaking idiots, you know, is because of all this stuff, man. And I'm so happy that you did this pareidolia stuff because
100%.
you know, it's just ridiculous, man. And besides, you know what? Your blob squatch, even if it is a Sasquatch, it's crap for evidence, man. So stop putting that shit out there.
Yeah, and I thought it was a good point about the idea of pareidolia with the clouds and stuff like that. And how you reversed it, like especially the garage one. That was a great one too. But you're saying it, and notice that all the pictures are clear pictures of pareidolia.
And I get it that people don't understand why we're like, why are you gonna look? Because it needs to be done. You know, people are like, why are you going after these people? Whatever. Why are you saying something about it? Well, because it needs to be done, man. It just does, man. We can't just stay quiet and go, yeah, we're just going to do our own little thing and we're going to get the real shit and put it out there. The problem is, even if any of us got the real stuff, there's so much crap out there. The real stuff ain't going to get paid attention to anyway, right? You know, I mean, so yeah, it needs to be done. And you know what? I'm doing a show on Monday. Leon's going to be hosting with me. Right, Leon?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we're gonna. And you know what? I might lose some subscribers. Maybe some people might not like it, but you know what? Even if me trying to just stay real about this whole thing keeps me a small channel with just a few hundred subscribers, that's okay with me. I don't care because at least that's a few hundred people I'm reaching. You know,
well, that's the problem with science,
and that's what you got to think about too, man. Just keep it real, like you're doing, man. Yeah, and I understand, for my part, Matt, I do understand your frustration because I feel the same thing, dude. So there's my $1.99.
Well, yeah. I even had a neighbor the other day. I was loading up my kayak and I was going out to meet Ron last week, and they came over and made a comment to my wife about Matt going out with the stupid Bigfoot thing again, and it just, you know, it's a hobby I like to enjoy, and maybe I just need to quit saying Bigfoot and saying I'm going camping in the woods, and just totally drop all references to something I really enjoy looking at and saying. But it's just become a bad name. It's just a bad stereotype, you know, and it just, you know, I've never been on the side of kooky before, I don't think, and I don't like being there. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah. Steven, what's your deep thoughts?
Yeah. Well, my deep thoughts on this are, when do you want to start doing something about stupid American tourists abroad? I think it's the same problem.
Yeah. You know, hey, you know, you don't even want to, I can't even say my thoughts on that because I'll really get in trouble. But, you know, but if you go overseas and you break the rules, sorry.
Oh, now you got me curious. I don't know what you're talking about. I investigate this to see if it's true or not.
Tourists in general, you know.
Yeah, I thought you just did a great job, for sure. Matter of fact, I might ask you to be on the Book What's Crew and do a similar idea, because it just showed so much about yourself. It was great. And again, you're not here to promote yourself. I know that. That's why you're so attractive to, I think, the rest of us. Sexy.
No, it takes a while. It takes a while to get there. It's just like, you know, yeah. Hey, my channel's doing well. I appreciate the viewers. I appreciate that anyone even turned in to watch that dribble for an hour and 20 minutes. But I just felt like I need to be honest with myself and try to put something out there that my family can see and realize that, hey, there are a few people out there really doing things and really running experiments and really investing in equipment and time and strategy, you know, and trying to, you know, think ahead. But, you know, I want to talk about on a show too about this. Oh, in 60 years, nothing has happened since the past. Well, you can't say that, because the iPhone hasn't been around that long. For one, you haven't had the technology that everyone has, unless the last 15, 20 years. So quit saying 50, 60 years. That's really not accurate. And of the people out there with these phones, again, how many have taken a photo class? So, you know, there's a lot of variables there. That's like
that's like saying how often have you been in the bush this year? 3 days, 3 weekends in a camper. You know, with a generator TV, big wide screen. You know, like,
Matt, that's what Matt. You need to open a school of photography, man. That would do me a lot of good. You know,
you can call it blurry.
I go out and I try to, because of health reasons and, you know, some financial shit, I haven't been out there as much as I had been previously, which is killing me. But I suck with a camera. I admit it freely and readily. I suck when it comes to filming. If you watch my videos in the woods, man, there could have been 10 Bigfoot running through a field and I would have missed every one of them probably, you know, but not that I've ever seen that, but,
well, no, I'm not saying
I need a school, man. You need to open up Matt Larson's school.
His video tonight was like that too. It was, especially when he's talking about the different lighting, the lenses. I mean, I'm a moron like you are.
And of course, I need to get better cameras too, man. I don't have anything that's of the quality that you got, man.
Oh, Joe, have you looked at Skillshare?
Do what?
Skillshare.
Skillshare, yeah.
Have you even heard of Skillshare?
No.
It's a website. Have a look. People who have expertise in all sorts of things doing little, self-done classes on all sorts of stuff, including, I'll bet, there's some photography out there.
Yeah, I really need help with that.
Well, how long does an average Bigfoot encounter take? I mean, you got to think of that, because I came across a bobcat and I had a camera phone in my hand, right? And I was going to go take a picture of it, but I made a slight noise and it hurt it. And I was like probably 30 yards away and it hurt it and just ran off. So it's like, how long does an encounter actually last, for you to do all that movement? Because I couldn't do it. And it's just it just doesn't seem like the encounter lasts long enough to really go over settings or anything like that. I think the important thing is to constantly be recording, kind of like how you were recording with that helmet cam, which was awesome. Something like that, just always recording. I mean, that's going to be the best thing, to see it like move in front of you or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm shooting 4K on that too, so it can do some damage. It can actually get out there. I was surprised about that. But I'm real surprised too that since I was shooting, I had the film much longer, and it opened with the GoPro helmet cam footage, and in sync was the cut in of me talking, and then it would go back to GoPro footage, and it was real long. And then when it couldn't take the feed, I had to start dropping layers. So all that just hit the floor, and it's some really, really good stuff. How that was rigged, and that was rigged like that for a purpose. So while I'm out there doing a demo, if something happened, I wouldn't be, not having something running. So I usually always have something running, and iPhone in the iPhone in hand with the camera up and on video, and body cam or the helmet cam, which I did today. I usually wear a body cam because it's even more stable. It looks like a drone footage of you walking through the woods. But for what I was trying to do, I wanted to bring the camera up. I really meant to document the frame numbers, and then bring the frame in and show the frame being edited and showed it being cropped. So it was like super legit all the way. And it just got too cumbersome. I just I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do that.
Yeah. One of the Abandoned Mines channels I watch, he has a shoulder mount 360 cam that he calls the ear hair view, but that's pointed in the wrong direction.
Yeah. I don't know if people out there running around snapping pictures of old snags and calling them Bigfoot and all the pareidolia and stuff, man. I mean, dude, here I am. I can't prove what I saw because I'm apparently not the investigator and the intrepid Bigfoot hunter that I thought I was. Because right now, if I was, I'd be sitting on a video at least of that would rival the frickin', Patterson Gimlin film, but I don't have that. I don't have that proof, man, because I'm, it's like.
Nowadays, that's going to happen.
Didn't have the camera running and just didn't think about it, and and so, what am I going to do? Move? I got to get past it. I'm frustrated. about that still because it's only been 2 years.
Well, it's going to happen to someone who's faster and quieter than Brent.
Damn it, dude! I guess you're
no kidding, huh?
Fearless fucking Bigfoot hunter. I thought you were, but. And it's like, so I guess I got to get over it and move on, but I'll be damned if I'm going to run around, taking blurry pictures of shit and popping them up on a channel and going, look, this is a Bigfoot running through the woods.
And if there was any, and if a lot of these channels, it's not that they're showing that, it's that that's all they're showing.
Yeah.
There is no other content. There's no camping. There's no camp life. There's no enjoying the woods. It's just purposeful, pareidolia of Bigfoot. And the whole thing is turning into that. And if there was something else with it, some other context with it, the hike to the woods to get to the pareidolia site, that would be interesting. But it's not. It just starts with this close-up. And it's like, what? I still don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, there are channels, Matt. There are channels that work up the bush willies.
Bush willies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The being out there afraid of the dark.
The
being out there afraid of the dark.
No, sometimes I'm afraid of the
I'm
dark.
working on that.
Sometimes, not always, but I mean, for example, talking about cameras, I've got one that's not an expensive camera, but it has night vision on the camera itself. Finally, I do have a night vision scope that does record, but it only records for so long. But I have a camera that actually has night vision, and it does actually film pretty well at night in the total dark. But am I going to, like, I brought up the example, if I hear a wood knock or something, in the woods at night, and I'm camping alone, even with my dog, which I usually take her with me when I can, but if I'm alone, am I going to go tromping off into the dark woods with that night vision camera to find out what made that noise? Chances are I'm not. I'm just not.
Yeah, I'm actually to the point I could. I mean, I've been
greater
doing
than me.
Well, no, it's just like I've been putting a lot of work into everything except the camera. And I think that's what's frustrating to me is I'm learning. I haven't been camping in the last couple of years, before the last couple of years, in a long, long time. I mean, I travel on an Airstream, for God's sake. I'm a spoiled camper. I glamp, right? So I had to go learn all this stuff again. I had to, look at what people were carrying for knives and how they were using it. I had to look at tourniquet kits, and luckily I'm a CERT volunteer, so I know life-saving skills, and luckily I had that gear bag to fall on and build off of. But there's so many things I had to get prepared for to put myself in the woods to do an overnight in the swamp. I don't see the same commitment for people that are great in the woods or great with hunting to wanting to learn the photography side. I'm not being a camera snob here and saying, oh, you don't know how to use the camera. I'm not saying that. It's just I don't see you or anybody putting in the work I am to learn how to camp, to learn how to hunt, to learn how to track, to learn how to, do what I need to do. And everybody else is just lucky-go-lucky. Well, I'm a tracker. I don't need anything. Bigfoot ran by me. Yeah, I should have had a camera. Well,
I think we should have worn our
work. I'm putting in the work, and when I'm not in the woods, I'm studying camping. I'm watching, these guys that kayak for 10 days on the Great Lakes and how they wear dry suits to survive. So I'm not sitting here twiddling my thumbs when I'm not out. I'm always training in a sense, and I just don't see
15 miles in upstream both ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I admit I don't do that stuff, man. I'm not an expert tracker. I'm none of that stuff, but
Well, it seems like most people who have encounters and whatnot aren't that. So, like the least successful people seem to be the ones looking for Bigfoot. The ones not looking are the ones just the random encounters are the ones that kind of come across them the most. Yeah. Running in front of the car.
Tell the truth. Yeah, I hunted a lot as a kid. I know what animal prints look like and et cetera, different ones here in New York State anyway. But I've never been any of that, man. I've been, since I was 14, just tromping around the woods. Most of the time in the early years, I didn't even have a camera. I had some casting material in case I came across any footprints, any tracks.
And how did you learn to cast?
Trial and error, man.
You didn't watch a YouTube channel?
They didn't have YouTube back then, man. They didn't have YouTube.
God, how old are you?
I'll be 59 in January, so yeah. They didn't have YouTube back then. There was no internet back then.
Brent.
So. There's Brent again, looking for a new home. Look at that.
Ta-da!
But yeah, I get what you're saying, Matt, and I applaud you for all that, dude, because I think if you want to be really serious about this investigation, that you should do things like that, and I should be doing it. And if I had all this time, and I haven't had these, I should be doing it too, really. If I expect to find the answers about what I encountered out in the woods 2 years ago. You know, if I expect to find those answers, I should be doing all that stuff.
Well, you know, you're still doing a lot because you're promoting healthy investigation tactics and thinking and stuff. So you may not be out there physically doing it, but you're probably out there helping somebody else achieve that, you know, to be able to do that through, you know, thinking more clearly about it. So, you know, we all do it in different ways.
And yeah, since I can't get out there as much as I used to.
Yeah, so,
now,
you know,
I mean, the situation will change for me in the future. And I will be getting back out there again. Things are going to improve for me. Absolutely. And I am going to. But yeah, right now, I am doing what I can. You know, it's like just like promoting these channels, man. I try to promote you guys as much because I believe in what you're doing, man. And I believe you're all honest and you're not trying to bullshit anybody with a bunch of crap, you know, and that's what I try to stick to, man. That's what I try to do. And I think you're doing a good job, Matt, myself. And maybe some people don't understand, but you can't reach everybody, you know.
No, I think if you didn't get what I was trying to do tonight, then I don't think I can reach you anyway. I mean, I'm to that point where I don't want to be crass and say I don't care, but it's just like, you know, the ones here on and a lot in the chat have good channels and we're trying to do a good job. And I just feel like we're getting buried by the people who are just taking advantage of people. And that's where it starts. That's where I start getting upset when I see people being taken advantage of, giving up hard-earned money. I can tell I've been in this long enough where I don't know everyone's personal life on here, but I have seen them in chat and seen their behavior and know how they are and how they talk. And we've all given clues about our life one time or another. And you can tell that a lot of these people really don't have the money to be, you know, pushed at to join to see content that just quite frankly is
nothing.
Yeah. It's nothing. And if I can tell them that, hey, you know, if you like seeing nothing, that's great. But, you know, I would, you know, maybe we should collect money. And at the end of the year, I offer, you know, 4 photo classes at a local university to, you know, 4 Bigfoot researchers who really want to learn how to use camera. Maybe someone could raise funds and send me to a survival camp for a week. That would be a blast. But I'm always doing stuff like that. Yeah. You know, I'm doing that kind of stuff anyway. Yeah. It's just frustrating that you don't see the same effort. You know, you just want to see the same effort.
Well, that's the growth stage. All of us have been there. The funny thing is, I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. It might have been Steve. I can't remember. But I was kind of laughing about you. I thought you're kind of where we were like 5 years ago. And we know how temperamental we have to be with people, but especially when we see somebody who's a rising star.
So you all just sit here and watch me explode and just laugh on the back channel, like
no, it's like, oh man,
we had to be wearing our nun outfit or our confessionals tonight, so you obviously got to get something off your chest there, and we understand that discharge, that frustration, and that,
oh my God.
Again. But I mean, if you look at it, Matt, 2 years ago, we even had other channels to do this with. We've been working on this for like 2 years behind the scenes of getting all these channels kind of networked up. And
I remember those early conversations
like we did when we first started, where it was raw. There was no other channels. Every time you were on another channel, they're attacking you because everyone's these independent, you know, warriors kind of thing. And now at least that you got, you know, you might not agree with everybody. I don't agree with everybody on here and stuff. Well, except for Steve, because he's my what's the Dark Lord, and I think it's a Babylon 5 one. I was trying to think about Babylon 5 quote, but I can't. You know, and I think that's great. Like we watch you from a distance because you know we watch your channel and stuff like that. But we also watch your growth that you're doing and your honesty that you're trying to do. And I know it's fucking tough. Like it pisses you off when you realize you're wrong. and you don't want to be wrong because you feel embarrassed and you've already said stuff. I've been there, and the nice thing is you've been there and you did the same conclusion we all did, which was I can't pretend anymore. I'm going to tell it exactly the way it is. I'm going to see what it is. I'm going to do educational videos like the one you did tonight. It's very systematic. I just honestly when I take that in, I'm online so much I forget that I'm not actually on a person's shoulder, so I'm talking to this. Oh my God.
Jay, you got to turn off your YouTube.
That was wild.
Oh, okay.
That was awesome. The UFO landed.
Yeah. No
I heard
kidding.
that from the kitchen, man.
Transported.
Yeah. I thought we're entering in a horror movie or something.
Oh, totally. Weird.
Is that what won the Bigfoot calling contest?
Maybe.
That's what it was.
So I don't know if you all, I don't know if you saw it, but Texas Jack had a good comment earlier. Dang, I keep hitting the wrong one. He said something about having his Lumix and still trying to figure it out. Let me see if I can find it. So he's one of the ones. There's 3 people out there shooting with a Lumix now. He's one of them. I can't find his. Oh, here it is. Here it is. As someone trying to learn how to use their Lumix correctly, I feel like I'm learning how to spend time in the woods was indefinitely easier.
Yes.
That's an interesting comment, though.
Yeah,
See, because I feel the exact opposite. Because if I make a mistake out in the woods, especially where I go, because I'm not on no bunny trail anymore.
Right.
I've been off those for about 8 months now. But if I make a mistake, it's not good, and especially someone who's going in there with, a mechanical heart valve. I'm on blood thinner. If I trip and fall on a one of the cypress knots, knees, and hit it, and I take a body shot. There's not much I can do where I'm at. I'm 3 miles out and a 3-mile car ride in. So, 45 minutes away from any hospital I would go to. So,
do you have any sort of do you have any sort of transmitter to like a InReach or something like that?
No, but who I go with does. And
okay. Oh, you go with somebody, that's good. But if you go by yourself and
this isn't
like
Washington State, so yeah.
Yeah, but just in conditions that you're talking about with health wise, you should really get one if you go out by yourself, just because you just might save your life one day.
You just have to push a button instead of.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody or something.
I mean, just the Python alone, someone's talking about the Everglades now in January. I'm thinking pythons and gators. And
you have any gators around where you go, Matt?
And I'd have 2 of those InReach things, just like throw them out and be like, "Come on, guys, let's go!
There's
Come get me! It's in the SWAT team.
There's gators where
you
go.
Shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of gators where I go.
Hell yeah, there is, man.
Yeah, I'm done, man. I'm done.
Yeah, for real, dude. For real. It's like
look, dude. Ever since Jay Fritz sent me that video of the Jeep eating alligator, man, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Not bringing my Jeep down there
later,
to see the alligators.
See ya.
Yeah, I agree with Patrick here. Primitive survival teaches you to accept your place in the natural world, your mortality as well. Yeah, I passed that stage about 8 years ago. So that's probably half of my no fear. I mean, not to say I don't have any fear, but let's just say I'm at peace with what I've gone through. I got Old Bear there. I didn't see you back there. I got one more to pop in here. If he wants to pop in.
I mean, I understand. I got stuff up here in upstate New York too. Sure, we got dangerous critters. We got black bears. They can be dangerous. We got cougars. We got apparently wolves are coming back now, and we have coyotes. I mean, we do have some dangerous carnivores here, but alligators, no. Thank God we don't have any alligators here, man.
Yeah, same here.
It's something about alligators so primitive and primal that they just scare the living shit out of me, dude. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
More power to you, brother.
You got cliffs though, and holes and things you can fall in, so at least I don't have to worry about that.
That's true. That's true. We do have that too. Yeah.
Yeah, Florida's also got exotic insects and spiders. They've got all sorts of stuff.
Man, that's just like, ugh. Yeah, man, I'd wrap myself in bubble tape. Man, it's like so dangerous there, man.
I tell you, when I went out yesterday and did that video for an hour, well, let's just say I took a long lunch, but not that anyone from work is watching. But I had put in a lot of hours this week with a telethon for Florida, by the way. We raised over $300K for
awesome.
For the hurricane, and that was a Red Cross telethon that I put on, and now we're starting up the Heart Walk. So it's been a slamming busy week, and then I went out to do that. So I put in so much time. I just took 3 hours and knocked that off yesterday a little bit. So, Bear, how are you doing? Didn't mean to ignore you there.
You're fine, man. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. What's happening in your neck of the woods? Al Roker says.
Well, in my neck of the woods, it's turning cold. That means everything is going to start fattening up for the winter, and that includes the Bigfoot that are around here.
Yeah. Well, how many you expect are around there? Where are you at again?
Well,
you're up in Midwest?
I'm in West Virginia.
Yeah. Okay. Virginia, West Virginia.
Yeah, I live right in the foothills of the Appalachians, near Charleston, West Virginia, near the capital city here in West Virginia. And we got a clan that passes through about every 4 to 6 months right here where I live. And there's houses within 100 feet of me.
Mm-hmm.
They live around here. But it's wooded, heavily wooded. A lot of thick areas around through here. A lot of deer. There's turkey in here. There's a lot of squirrel, rabbits, coyotes. A lot of stuff they eat.
Wow. Well, it's a lot of critters.
Yeah.
A lot of critters.
I'm trying to flatten out
Lots of critters
myself. Just by the way.
What was that?
I said I'm trying to fatten up for the winter myself, by the way. So.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like this comment.
Yeah, that's convenient. We get a definite YouTube video for that one, I think.
Yeah. Well, in this guy's case, Texas Jack, there's no excuse because I gave him a good website that shows you how to use that Lumix, and he's just not watching it. He's not putting in the time on that. There's a whole tutorial on YouTube on my camera. You just watch 10 videos and you're an expert. I just have to rewatch because there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. Well, Bear, you catch the first show, or are you just jumping on the second show here?
No, I got the first show, and I got exactly what you meant about it. I've seen I've done this for 30 years, 35 years now, and I've seen a bunch of people put up pictures that are pareidolia on different channels on YouTube. And, I haven't been on YouTube that long, but when I started out as a channel to give people the option of being able to tell their stories, their accounts. Truck drivers, it didn't make any difference what you do for a living. If you had an account of Bigfoot, I'll tell it like you tell me. And all this stuff of the blob squatches and putting all this stuff out about them walking out of portals, not to name a channel or two that's done that all lately.
Yeah, let's not do that here.
I'm really kind of sick of this, hearing about this bull, because you can go out and you can find where Bigfoot live, and if you play your cards right, you can actually see him. You may not see him up close and personal, but you can see him. You might have to see him through a set of binoculars or through a spotting scope. It just depends on, if they know you're there or not. And people, they put these stupid pictures up. It's rather irritating to me. I've done it this long. I've survived it. I've dealt with Bigfoot that are super aggressive. I've dealt with every type of Bigfoot there is out there in the Appalachians. And
now, what does that mean?
Of what we do.
What does that mean when you say that? You dealt with
when I say every type?
No, when you've dealt with them, what does that mean? What was the interaction?
Well, I've actually had to go to people's houses and run them off.
Using solar lights or just lights, or what are you using?
Putting up motion sensor lights, putting up game cameras, having to do improvised flashbangs to where they get a tripwire on them and they trip them, to shooting at them. And usually when you have that situation where you have to start shooting at them, they're not very nice. They're just super aggressive, and they may be looking at you as a meal.
So these clients of yours, what did they tell you that convinced you that was actually happening? That they had to be run off?
People will, when I was doing all of this, people would call, get a hold of me. I would go out to their house, go through a complete investigation, find damage to their homes, to their cars, a grill, stainless steel grill crushed. I don't see a person doing that. Finding footprints, finding markers, trees stuck upside down in the ground in some places, huge X's made out of trees, stuff like that. And when you start finding the damage to the back of the home, and the kids are scared, the wife's scared, the husband is scared, you pretty much know that it's a Bigfoot because of the way they act. The kids tell you. You interview the kids too. Even if they're 5, 6 years old, you interview them in front of one of the parents and ask them what they saw. And then you go around the neighborhood and you kind of look around on other pieces of the property around the neighborhood, and you find markers, tree bows or tree twists or something like that. They're frequenting the area. And then you do an investigation at night and find out what they are actually doing on that person's property. And a lot of times you find, they fed them for a little while, either knowing they fed them or they didn't know they were feeding them, and they stopped doing something that feeds them, like leaving trash out at night or putting, a basket of apples or something out on their picnic table. And then these Bigfoot get upset, they develop an attitude, and they take it out on something or someone. And usually they take it out on items in their yard. And when they start doing things like that, they're getting aggressive. They scare the family members. Once they scare the family members, you have to do something, especially when there's kids around. I've heard, accounts of Bigfoot coming up and helping, kids that go in the woods and get lost. I know that they do that, but you don't hear about the accounts of kids disappearing from houses, and the only thing they find is one footprint. That's happened here in West Virginia before.
Yeah. Well, we have a good group here, so maybe there's I don't have that show set up, but maybe I'm scanning the chat here to see, someone should have you on and talk about it. I've seen you on a couple things. I'm looking anywhere, so someone should reach out to Old Bear then and get that story out there and talk about it more. That'd be pretty cool. Okay. I think did he go? Oh, I lost him again. I think Jay was trying to pop on again. He
Poor
popped
Jay.
in. I was waiting for Old Bear to finish because I didn't want Jay to blow us out with his audio again. So I was waiting. Jay, if you're there, I hear you. I see you.
Yeah, he sent a thing in the chat that
working on my
he's
StreamYard.
having difficulties turning off his YouTube for some reason.
Oh yeah. I just didn't want to take him and interrupt his story. So cool. Well, anyway, I mean, that's kind of where I was going with that. I mean, you know.
No, well, it was good because it was a good thing that like you and Pat, like Pat did his show, which was a setup, and it worked great for him, which really kind of ties into what you were trying to process anyways, and then it just gave you the extra jump you needed to say, I can't just do this anymore. Now that get used to that phrase, I just can't do this anymore. Let's see, have I walked into crazy? No, I was just thinking some of them are crazy. Now I'm thinking
that's
more of them
the point. I feel like I've walked into crazy land,
yes.
and I
Thomas
never belonged in crazy. Well, maybe I have.
In the asylum, right?
Yeah, the
Imagination land.
Yeah, imagination land. Yeah.
The thing is, Matt, you were there for 6 months before you even started to get a hint that you were in crazy land.
Only 6 months.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I started on some of these channels. I think I started on the same one Brent started on, and I picked up some stuff, and I just kind of weeded through what was logical, what was illogical, and what was out of focus and what was not out of focus. And I picked up on Bigfoot narrative, and that's something really to be aware of, is when you're working with people in the field and people come down to Florida and I work with them, we'll try to do it again, Jay. I'm gonna see if you squeal. All right. He has his mic off.
You said
No, he's got thumbs down, so that's a no-go.
Oh, that's a no-go.
It's a no-go.
But I like it. I like it when people come down to Florida and you get a real sense for how they move in the woods, what their thought process was or is, how they go about their business, how prepared they are, whether or not they even take water on. I've been I've been sidetracked enough that I carry so much gear. The last 2 times out with Max Powers, I think I almost killed him. We went 18,000 steps with 7 miles, something like that. And I forgot to throw my water in my backpack. And when I got back, I told him I was a little worried that I didn't have water. He goes, "Oh, I had 2 waters. You should have." You should have asked me. But it's good to get a feel for people. And there's people I wouldn't go out with again. And there's people I look forward to going out with again. And I learned to just stay away from crazy. I learned to look for the narrative of a narrative not based in anything substantial. I just I listen, and it just kind of goes. Kind of goes in one ear and out the other is dismissed. But unless there's more detail that I can understand or to help me understand. But mainly it's the skill level I look at is what people are carrying, how they move, how they tie canopies off. I'm really into the, setting up hammocks and with wind tarps on them. And I watched a video the other day of a guy who set up in a hurricane, and he was sleeping in a hammock with a tarp over him in the storm that just went through. It was, what was it? It was Lone Wolf with a number after him. I think it was Lone Wolf's videos. I started watching a lot of his. He does a lot of, he'll go out in situations of snow and he just camps. And one of them, another guy took his son out and he was tent camping in the back of a Tundra and just watching what equipment he used, what grills he used, how he prepared the tent, how he kept his son safe. I sponge that stuff up and I do it. And it's so much better in person. So it's nice having the camera down, but I disagree is what I was starting to say with Texas Jack, in that I feel I have so much more to catch up on than just learning a camera, because you can just use an iPhone and be good at it. You can just use a Sure Shot Canon and be good at it. You just keep it in your hands. You keep it turned on. You keep batteries with you. You keep it charged. And before you leave the car, you know, you look through it, make sure your meter's good, make sure you're balanced, make sure you're on video mode, and you leave it on and start your day. So you know you can just pull it up and shoot. It's just being ready. But I have so much to worry about with the technical skills of just being in the woods because it's so dangerous. I mean, anywhere you go.
Yeah, it is, man. Well, more so where you are, you got like everything to worry about.
Yeah,
everything.
People have Bigfoot in the brain. They have no idea what you're talking about as far as your perception now capacity, but compared to what it was about the dangers in the forest. It's more likely you're going to bust your leg or get speared by something than you are going to get attacked by a Sasquatch. Yeah. And so they're still focused on a Sasquatch, but they're forgetting that watch your feet. Yeah. Learn the forest floors, how to walk on the forest floor.
Yeah. So
I think it is Lone Wolf 902's channel. Yeah, I think it is. I remember it had a number off of it. And I remember because we got Florida Lone Wolf here. That's why I remembered it was Lone Wolf. But he has a great channel. He has a great it's very Patrick Vaughnish, but he goes out there and he makes videos of everything we've heard Patrick talk about. I mean, everything from, making coffee to setting up a emergency wind shelter to setting up he did a suspended bed frame the other day out of, I think it was 2 pallets. And someone said, "Oh, well, you don't have pallets out in the woods." And he goes, "Well, actually, I did find them in the woods. I have a bunch of private property. Part of the property used to be a dump. He found 2 pallets. He ran 2 sticks through them, tied the strings and the knots, and he actually had bedding on a pallet. And then he ran his tarp over it, and it was like sweet. So there's so many things, Not that I know every step he did to do it, but I at least know that will pop in my head when I ever need it. So I do stuff like that,
Well, I watch a lot of the bushcrafting channels. I follow a lot of the bushcrafting channels.
Me too.
Not because I'm that interested, but I do learn stuff that I'd never thought of before. I mean, I'm pretty well versed in camping. I've done it a long time in life. But I still learn stuff off those channels. And not only with the bushcrafting am I looking for what else can I do when I'm camping, but I also lets me recognize what I'm looking at when I'm out in the woods and I see something, and then all of a sudden it's not like, oh, there's a Bigfoot structure, right? So I learn a lot off of what to look for off of those bushcrafting videos too. And like I said, I'm fairly new to the whole internet thing. I've only been on a few years because I just kept way under the radar for a long time. And I think the only reason I started on internet was I happened to look up. I thought, you know what, I've got internet now, and the internet was getting better. And I thought, let me look up Bigfoot sightings in New York. And then when I was looking that up, not knowing
there wasn't any, was there?
But then looking that up, all of a sudden I see all this other stuff, man. And so my point with this particular thing I'm saying is it's tough to realize, and it's a little embarrassing when you realize that for a long time, because I saw the internet. Look, dude, I was doing cannonballs. Into the Bigfoot Kool-Aid pool, man, for a long time.
Me too.
And until I learned better, and I got around some more objective thinking people, and I started realizing what some of the stuff that I was looking at really was. So yeah, it's a little embarrassing, but there's really no shame in it because we all have done it. And the only other thing I say,
Matt's puts a month behind.
To your comment about somebody could be good with different types of cameras, you're right, man. Somebody could be good with just that inexpensive night vision camera that I have. Not me, but somebody could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's no shame, man. We've all jumped into that pool. But the thing is, I think Leon would probably say something like, the thing is that after you recognize it, then accept it and then change, right? You know,
And
after you recognize that you were jumping into the Bigfoot Kool-Aid pool, then don't keep going along that same path.
Well, I think it's more you realize you're in the big Kool-Aid pool and you think, I can't do the Kool-Aid pool anymore. Like I just can't, I just climb yourself out of it. It's still dripping off you, and it takes a while for that so you get back to you're doing what Matt's trying to do, which is just be part of the forest. And if he sees a Sasquatch is threatened by him, because the guy's got an opportunity to catch it. He's going to. He knows his shit about cameras. I don't. I'm like you are. And, with just the way he articulates and knows the lenses, he's not going to be, I don't know. He's talking about all these, what's the frames per second, PS. I have all these things on my camera here too. And it's like, hey, I don't even know what the acronyms are standing for. I part loud, is that an AFLW? I don't know. I have no idea what the acronyms are.
There's nothing wrong with putting it on auto. But
right. Well,
that's where my cameras sit, man, is on auto.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do ask you to learn one more skill, which would be putting it on manual focus. Because there is going to be a time where you need to learn to switch from autofocus to manual to get past those twigs to see what's behind.
Yeah, so you don't get that blurring. Yeah, I get you.
The two things I would say is auto. Put it on auto and learn to go in and out of manual focus, and you'll be fine.
It would be. I think your poor plate that you're in is you do this professionally, so you're wired. So any video you would watch online about Bigfoot, your brain couldn't help but go, "Oh, that guy's doing that totally wrong, and that guy's totally doing that totally So it'd be double torturous for you because we don't have that information. We're just seeing, the guy's still in garbage.
But I'm not really looking at that though. I'm looking at how he rigged his truck or how he knows where to go when four-wheeling. I go out with Ron. I'm not taking my new truck where he goes. Nobody goes where. I bought this for Ron. Here's this. This is what I bought for Ron.
Memory. Don't follow me.
Don't follow me. You won't make it.
I'm gonna give that to him when I see him, but there's nobody follows that man. I mean, I've learned so much just seeing. When I'm with somebody, trust me, I'm watching. I'm not watching their photography skills. I could care less. I know those. I'm watching everything else.
Great. No, that's the way you are for sure. That's the nice thing about having somebody too that you can go alongside of. You just
Jay joined in. What does Jay have to say tonight?
Yeah, Jay, what's up? You're just holding up. Is something wrong with your finger?
Yeah. You having a heart attack? What's going on?
Y'all wasn't watching. I just picked a booger off a while ago.
Okay.
No, I want to apologize. I don't know what happened. I have no clue. I know people had headphones on. It had to blow their ears out. Oh, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I've never had trouble with it before. I done forgot what y'all talking about now.
Pocket knife.
I don't know a damn thing about cameras, so don't even just bypass me.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see whatever you come up with. It scares me.
No, it's really good. You'll like it.
Oh, it'll be funny, I'm sure.
She did a good job.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so
she's just using that as a tease. She's using that as a tease.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Or I'll do
And a good tease. And a good tease it is.
Yeah. Now we all got to go watch and see what it is.
Well, the subject matter was pareidolia. Anybody else have anything to say? If not, we're at 58 minutes. No need to beat a dead horse.
Right.
Another thing I got to say is that what you did was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
I second that.
Yep. And make sure you hear that from us. We saw something there that you were trying to do, and we seen it. You did a great job.
You're vernacular, man. I smell what you're stepping in, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
I want to ask one question. What all is considered paranoia?
Pareidolia. It's a person's interpretation of something that isn't there. I guess, you know.
And one thing I didn't want to go into, but I had it in the PowerPoint. There's 10 slides, but it also extends to sounds. So technically, the auditorial sounds like the Beatles and the Paul is Dead, that is also considered a form of pareidolia. It goes into, and you all heard me say this 100 times, I'm not a big footprint guy. I consider there's more misrepresentation in terms of pareidolia in footprints to me than there are in Bigfoot themselves. So people get mad at me when I'm out with them is that they'll stand over this blob track and start measuring it and looking for the next step. And I went, what the F are you doing? This is stupid. This is borderline like I'm going to tie you, Velcro, zip tie you to a tree and just leave you. You know, like there's nothing there. Or if it is, it's not going to tell you anything more than an out of focus blob squatch. Unless you want to say, hey, that could potentially be the only thing you can say is that could potentially be a print. It's an impression of some sort. I don't know what it is. It's an area I may want to come back to.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go away. Stop.
And Jay, the simple thing is pareidolia is seeing a face in the leaves when there's no face there.
In other words, seeing or hearing something.
Or hearing something like he was mentioning.
And misidentifying it, right?
That's pareidolia. Okay. A bunny rabbit shaped cloud, that's pareidolia. You see a bunny rabbit, that's
and again, that's from your primal part of your brain, that programming system. It works automatically on the same mechanism.
It probably saved our asses a lot from getting eaten by saber-tooths and short-faced bears and shit way back when.
But it's the lowest hanging fruit in this subject, though, because man, that's like the most popular thing. Like some of the most popular groups or some of the most popular likes are just the pareidolia stuff. And a lot of the pareidolia happens after the fact. Like they're not there taking pictures; they go through video and stuff, and they use like certain software to manipulate and enhance certain things. Very similar to what M.K. Davis did to the Gimlin footage and stuff like that, where he was creating colors and actually altering the video to the point where it wasn't what it originally was. And when you talk about using an iPhone uses an AI software to enhance the picture. So technically, that picture isn't accurately what is being, what's there in reality. So even using an iPhone now is actually kind of technically altering the reality of what's going on. So it can, maybe create artifacts that wasn't originally there.
Right. I still think they'll take a clean picture of a Sasquatch. Still.
Oh well, yeah. If it's like clean right there, But if you're going to like use it for pareidolia, like the Pareidolia King down in Florida, then it's like
who would you be talking to?
Now I'm more of an Android user than an iPhone user, but can't you turn that crap off on the iPhone?
I don't know. I don't have an iPhone, but you'd hope so. But maybe not, because it's so ingrained in their software. That's why iPhones are known for their like qualities, pictures and video and stuff. They use like high quality AI enhancements and stuff. So,
hey, Matt.
Yeah.
The old cameras didn't have pixelization in them, did they?
No, they had film. So they had an acetate substrate with emulsion on there. And I mentioned that on Pat's show. And that was actually in the PowerPoint too, was that film went by the size of the film from 8 millimeter. Yeah. 8 millimeters, the size of the pencil eraser, a little bit bigger. Then you got 16, which is, just the size of this tab right there, about that big. And then you have 35 millimeter, and then it goes from there. I kind of play that off with the size of the film, is pretty much measurable to what sensors are today. You can almost look at them the same way, but like I was telling someone before, it's not necessarily the megapixels that's creating the sharpness. It's still in the optics. So I can have a plastic toy camera that shoots 120 film, which is a bigger strip of film than this. It's a big piece of film, but it still has a plastic lens on the front of it. So yeah, I got a big sensor and a big piece of film, high quality professional film, but I got a crappy lens in front of it. So it's a combination of sensor and lens. You have to have a working, field for both. And like any profession, you find the best tool for what you're doing. If you're shooting space and telescopes, you have to find what works for space and telescope. If you're shooting at night, you have to find the right combination and trade-offs that work at night. And one of the best channels out there doing night videography is Hellbent Holler, and they're a Dogman channel primarily.
No.
Their stuff is second to none. I mean, Jess knows. She knows what camera to use in what situation and when. And they're South Carolina, going to West Virginia soon. And when it comes to videography in the field, they're the best.
Yeah, they did a lot of film work around where I was born and raised at.
Mm-hmm.
The LBL.
Yep.
Now,
and they're definitely in the LBL now. Yeah, I shared a lot of that with Mark and Larry. I said, you got to watch these people, man. I mean, I wasn't necessarily watching for the Dogman content because I'm not a Dogman person, but how they choose to pick up what camera and when is absolutely phenomenal. I'm just learning so much from them. And she's not a professional photographer by any means. She's just adapted to knowing what works in what situation. And that's all you got to do. I'm trying to adapt to being a woodsman and know what to carry in a light backpack or when to go with a big backpack, and how important of water is on this trip versus a tourniquet on this trip, and what are the safety hazards versus first aid kit versus how much camera I can carry, and do I need to carry a FLIR during the daytime, and am I going to get tripped out at night, and do I need night vision? And there's all these things going on that I'm juggling actually too much. And Joe, you made a really good point that you should use on your show. You just need to be good. You just need to, you actually did. You just need to be good at one thing. Take someone out with you that can fly a drone. Take someone out there that loves the night vision, that loves to go chase that knock at night. And then you be the guy in the daytime, the camp person that draws them in, whatever. But that's the kind of stuff I work on, is the strategy side of it. It's like a chess match. And I have no doubt that these things exist, but unfortunately, no one's showing me or proving to me that they exist. All I have is good people that I believe. I believe their encounters. I believe your encounter, Joe. I believe I mentioned Carrie's encounter. There's Lori, who I go out with Ron. I believe her encounter. And I'm not going to doubt these people one bit just because I know the people and I know they wouldn't lie to me. Now
I will always
say that before and have been lied to. I get that, but I'm a pretty good judge of people, and that's the reason what keeps me going. That's why I'm trying to do it right.
I will always say though, I don't have anything to show anybody about my encounter, so therefore, it's really not proof that Bigfoot exists. Only to me,
and that's fine.
Only to me.
And that's fine. But the next generation is going to be having a body camera, 4K, GoPro on their chest. So like Patrick Vaughn's story of where it stepped out so close to him, and Jeff's Harding story where it stepped off so close to him, that stuff will be eventually captured. But we didn't have that technology for 60 years that people are harping on. So when I hear this, in 60 years, no one's done anything. Well, you don't know what you're talking about, because the technology hasn't existed, nor has anybody really cared to learn the craft to be better at it. So there's a lot of variables there. So I
said, man, Thomas has got me convinced, man, after I went through with my encounter with him and Leon that time on my show. And Thomas got me convinced. He said afterwards, but now you'll have a camera running all the time, won't you? And I said, yeah, you bet your ass. And, you know, I have a GoPro, and I'm going to start doing all that stuff from now on, man. Imagine if I'd had a GoPro running on my chest that day. Dude, I won't make that mistake again. I'm going to have all that stuff running. The next time I'm able to get back out into the woods and start doing this stuff again, I'm having GoPro on my chest. I'm going to be filming all the time, man.
I can't wait to hear what Molly has to say about that.
Just in case.
Yeah, totally, Steve. He didn't
If
hear
I
you,
ever
Steve.
see one again, he's going to have to be walking between me and that 65-inch TV screen.
You can talk about your wife like that. You'd be sleeping out in the cold tonight with the dog.
So Matt,
Yes.
just from the chemistry standpoint, with emulsion film cameras, the emulsion, of course, does have a maximum resolution. It has a graininess that depends a lot on its chemistry. If you don't focus well, you defeat that maximum possible resolution. And if you develop it poorly, you also defeat the maximum you can get out of that film.
Right.
So emulsion cameras depend on a whole lot to get a really good picture.
Yeah. And that's why I truly believe, and I've said this before, that a modern day digital camera is going to outproduce a 35 millimeter film camera, I think. I haven't done that test yet. Definitely in a 16 millimeter. I mean, I'm trying to get the actual Patterson camera. I thought I had it and it wasn't, and then so I had to resell it. But I have a Google, alert that when it comes up, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to shoot it head to head with an iPhone. But you know what I noticed doing this show, and I'll post it on my Instagram in a split screen, because everything I shot with an iPhone. I shot with my Lumix, and this is something. And I did not mention this because I didn't want to stir it up. But since we're late in this show and nobody's watching this late, I will say something. And I want you all to start paying attention to this. And this is really important. I didn't want to throw it out because it's kind of aggressive. It's kind of passive aggressive. I noticed when I shot with my iPhone, and you would let's say looking at your YouTube screen, we got 7 people up. So let's say, looking at Leon's square, 1/4 of the square is the center of interest in this whole frame of the 9-way, right? 1/4 of Leon. If I take that one size of that image, which is probably 4, 8, 12, 36, 1/36 of this frame, and blow it up with an iPhone, it falls to shit real quick, right? And the pixels look like what?
Fuzzy.
They look like squares. They're actually horizontal squares, right? When I did it with my Lumix, they stayed fairly sharp. I saw an image. How can I say this? I saw an image that revealed that 1/64th of the frame was pulled out. Okay. And when I looked at it in an enlarged state, I didn't see the pixels that I'm seeing on my camera. That's a little disturbing to me, because they would have to be really, really shooting with some really awesome cameras. Okay. So what I started looking at is that on my images, and I can share this with you, Steve, and even Leon, it's something to look at. When you blow up that 1/64th of the square, and let's say a couple of my images had a pretty nice looking face, better than most channels out there tonight. Mm-hmm. If you isolated those pixels because they're blocks and lifted it out, right? And cut it out, you could actually drop it into another photograph. Okay. Or you can pull those pixels out, smooth them, and drop them into another photograph that is even 1/100th the size of the frame. I'm seeing stuff. This is what's bothering me, and this is what set me off. I'm seeing stuff that's the size of this a pencil eraser, as you're looking at the screen now, blown up and holding a face. That is fucking physically impossible. The size of this eraser, and they blow it up, and there's no pixels. Like what I'm seeing in my own work I did today. I went, whoa, 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 wait a minute. And I didn't realize I have no, and as a photojournalist, I don't blow up shit that big. I don't look at pixels, you know? As a photojournalist at any newspaper, we bring up an image, you do contrast, you bring up the D-min and the D-max on a curve, and you bring it to the toe, you bring it to the heel, and you bring up the contrast a little bit, and you're done. That's all you're allowed to do in photojournalism. You can't blot out a sign, you can't blot out a wart, you can't darken the skin of someone or lighten the skin of something. You'll be fired. Well, 10 years ago, you'd be fired. Now it's actually encouraged. But you couldn't do it then. But what I'm seeing is that when I look at some of this stuff now, while I was doing the show, I'm trying to figure out how it didn't just fall apart. I'm trying to figure out, how did I even see that? When I blew it up, or they blew it up, how did that even hold together to show what we're seeing? That's
I know one place that does work.
I don't know. So I'm going to figure that out. And I have a couple ideas what could be going on. And again, I'll do it to my own work. I'm not calling out anybody. It's not my job to call out anybody. But when I see stuff that's physically impossible, I gotta figure out what's going on here, because you know pixels are pixels in the digital world, and it goes with the sensor and the lens quality, and you have to have high quality on both sides, the pixel of the sensor and the lens. And if that's not happening, you can't do that. So I don't know how that's being done.
Ooh, you got a mystery.
But it's real interesting. It's real interesting. A little controversial, but
I think that would have been over anyone's head anyway. So I'm not sure how it could be controversial.
Well,
it's like, what did you say? I don't know. What did he say? I don't know.
I saw on Instagram last week, as I started this presentation, someone posted a research subject of a Bigfoot in the woods at night on Instagram. I brought it into my phone. I brought it into Snapseed, and all I did was lighten it. And I could clearly see a stump, a 2-foot high stump that a body was standing on. It was a stump this high, and a body was standing on it. And when I lightened it, you could see the stump, you could see the body, which made something look 7-8 foot tall. And the feet were a little almost like boots. You know, they
probably were.
They didn't look like Bigfoot ankles and shins, you know?
Yeah. Didn't have that sexy curve right there.
And that's from a major channel.
I know it's pretty. How do you say? It's almost like the plague. It's just absolutely everywhere. And that's the toughest part. The nice thing is, slowly but surely, we're moving forward with a group of us now that are thinking like-minded. We have a chat, an audience that is appreciative of that. And that's like Steve always says, that's our target audience. The other one's like the way you handled that guy tonight when you just said you can just leave now kind of thing. And you did that exquisite. The way you graciously went to him, because it's your channel, and I didn't know what he was talking about or anything like that, but it was just very, very right. You were right at doing everything you did there. You didn't do it badly. You weren't mad. You weren't angry. This is just the way this is the way the nights go on. This is the environment I want. Whatever you're bringing here, you can just get out of here, and you did that. Right. That was another time when I was watching the live.
Yeah,
I thought brilliant. I thought that was brilliant too. I was going to actually stand up. I don't know if I can though. I think it's just to practice it. But when I was going to ask you if you were to ask me about your show, I was going to actually wheel my wheelchair back and stand up and then clap. So, then I thought I better practice that before I do that. In case I
yeah. We don't want to be like, Leon, Leon.
Go team, go. You know.
Well, I'll say one thing. I come to a lot of channels, and Brent and Matt, I'm pulling for you two guys more than just about anybody. Okay.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do too. I appreciate it. Well, like I
I've
said,
I've had my day, but I'm pulling for you two guys.
we appreciate it.
Yeah. Hopefully one day. We try. We keep it
You're
on.
I'll tell you what, son. You're in a prime area.
Yeah, for real, huh? So, it's all smoked out right now, though. It's like so smoky. Yeah, it's like sometimes it's hard to go outside.
I watch a lot of yours, Brent, just for the scenery. My God,
yeah,
it's beautiful. Oh,
yeah, that's why I do videos like that, just to help show the scenery of, Bigfoot's out there somewhere, somewhere out in all that scenery.
It's got to be, brother.
It's a green screen. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no kidding. I was in my bedroom, just like kind of walking around, have all this sound effect. I'm walking on like lettuce or something.
Yeah, having your waterfall. The right, so we can't.
Oh man, I'm busted.
We learned from the best, man. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, guys.
And Matt's going to see one swimming across the Hillsborough River.
I still to this day, I have a video clip that is it's so teeny, but I could swear it was the day I was out with Stan, and Stan, I had someone with me. And we'd pushed into a corridor area as far as we could go. It was flooded. We crossed a couple of creeks. We went all the way to the point of one little creek. It was the river to our right and inlet to our left. And just then, this hog just gets slaughtered. I mean, it was like squeal, 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 squeal. Dead silent. And we both looked at each other and we went, something. That hog just got slaughtered. And he goes, no shit. And then we walked off, and it wasn't 5 minutes later. Same thing. A second one goes off. And it, in my mind, it was picked up by the neck, squeal, 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 thrown at a tree, dead silence. I mean, there was no, it was just, and we went, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on that same shoot, I was shooting upriver with the Lumix, again about 100 yards, and there was a lot of light play coming through the forest on the water, and it looked like there was a body in the river just doing this with the water, just splashing itself. Wow. And I looked at it. I couldn't get a beat on it. It's like shot under a twig, between a tree, through this into the river at the bank 100 yards away. It just looks like someone just doing this in the water, just playing. And it lasts about 4 seconds. And to me, it's just like, wow, I don't know what that is. It could be light play because I'm looking at all the light dancing, around the trees at the same time. So it could be, but it just looks like splashing.
Yeah.
So never know.
Never know, brother.
Now we got kayaks, and that's what we're going to figure out.
Nice.
I'm actually thinking about a drone, but don't tell Pat.
Mm-hmm. I got two of them.
I'm gonna never learn how to fly the damn thing.
Yeah, man, launch it from your kayak. That'd be cool.
I'm launching it right off in front of the kayak.
I got two drones.
I can crash it real good. Can't fly it very well though.
Well, some of them, they have all that avoidance on there, so you'll be all right.
Yeah, mine's
all right.
Mine's a cheap little one. It only costs like $100, man.
With a kayak, there's another cheaper solution if you don't want to have it push out way ahead of you, which is just a helium balloon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
What the overhead is on the forest ceiling is in the water where you're going down.
That'd be cool to do with a FLIR.
It'd be cool to do with a machine gun.
What? Can you imagine? Everybody hitting it?
Well, Ukrainian and Russia stuff right now, I think, online.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Well, I'll tell you, the drone, because I mean, I'll tell you, the drones.
Oh yeah,
you buy from Staples or Best Buy or whatever. I don't know
Oh,
which
yeah.
there is. Where's
Only
the
thing
drone?
about that balloon, though, Steve, that lasts about a half a second. All these sawgrass needles and stuff we got down here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it depends on where you are, but
Yeah.
you know, you can tether it and you can adjust the height.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too high, but at least high enough to make sure it's getting.
well, yeah. You know, if you set up a platform up there and have the power and everything go to it, you can have like a platform, so like the camera can just kind of like go, every which way and stuff. So it,
I like
there's
that.
a lot of potential there.
Kite limit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but then you've got to be paddling real fast.
Yeah, at first, right, to get the run.
I was wanting to go with Matt and his bunch, but if I go, I'm afraid they're going to put me out there for bait.
Put you out there with your recliner.
Yeah.
Out there in a little meadow area. Get this 5-foot alligator, walk up right beside you.
Hey, you know what? That man down there, that away. You can also thank him for just multiplying my fear of damn gators, because him and his thing about kayaking and almost getting eaten by one of the damn.
Yeah. I sold both my kayaks. I did. Oh my God! I'm not trying to lengthen your show, Matt, but I tell you about what happened to me.
I don't
Does he
know.
have that picture of it? That's the question.
I was fishing and I caught a bass, and it was in early May when they're on bed, when they're nesting, and the wind blew me in right on one's nest, and that thing came off that nest, slapped my kayak. Then he turned. It had big wheel, female. She turned back around, came at me. I took my little 20 gauge sawed-off shotgun, emptied both barrels at her. I don't know if I hit her or not because I didn't stick around long enough, So I sold both my kayaks after that.
Yeah.
It's funny you guys mentioned going out and using all these new technological things, and next time you guys go out, try taking a GoPro, put it on your chest, and take a buddy with you. Put one on his chest, and then separate by 100 yards. One of you stop behind a big tree, and then the one that's in behind walks ahead of the other one 100 yards, and see what you pick up then.
Yeah.
You will know if Bigfoot are in the area real quick, because they will show up on the camera, because they do that number of, they'll spy on the person that's moving, and as long as they're moving and they can look back at them, they'll move around the tree, and the person that's standing is going to catch it moving. It's worked for me.
Makes sense.
So try that next time you guys go out. Y'all've got all the new gadgets. I haven't had any new gadgets for probably 10 years or more. But try it and see if it works. It don't matter what terrain you're in, you'll catch one. If they're up close watching you, you'll catch them.
Well, all I'm looking for is 15 seconds of movement. So,
well, okay. I have one thing that I would say: if you want to be serious about the photography and learning how to use your camera, look at any of the classes that talk about how you use settings, and like Matt says, how you use focus. Use those classes to learn how to adjust the settings on your camera, so that you're just familiar with the settings on your camera and how to adjust them. And when you're ready to learn more, look for a more advanced class, or start going through the manual on your camera and see what the other settings do.
Yep. There's practically a YouTube now on every camera that's out there. You know, even if you find a vintage camera, when I was looking at the 8mm and 16mm on you know, if I find one, you know, just to remind myself how to run the film past the gate and how the gate flips open and the different size magazines you can have on there. I mean, all that stuff I was looking at, but it's all good stuff. Yeah, for sure. I mean, all you got, you know, whatever you have, even if you only have one item, even if it's a handheld recorder, just learn how to just be the best handheld recorder guy you can be on that trip. You know, just whatever you got, just be good at something, you know.
And I'm not necessarily talking about learning how to use the camera. You can watch videos on how to use your particular camera. I'm talking about how to compose pictures and how to make use of the camera to make good pictures.
Well, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for putting up with my noise.
Thanks.
Hey, take care.
I'm sorry about that loud noise. I really am.
Don't worry about it, buddy. You're a good man.
See you later.
Yeah, really, Jay.
Watching, I won't stay on too late here. Because like you said, he wanted an hour because he wanted to get to bed or whatever like that.
Yeah,
it's so addicting, you know.
It's midnight here, so.
But it's interesting watching like what the Ukrainians have been doing with GGI drones, same ones we have. Is before they go into an area, they have a whole air force of drones, and these guys all go in with their drones first and look over a whole chunk of area, and they see where the enemy is, and then they bombard the coordinates. And that's what we should do also as Bigfooters, is get a whole bunch of people with drones and go over a fort with them, especially if we had night vision with them. And then we could kind of move in. I don't know, it's kind of one of those strategic things, but I thought, let's, after this war, hopefully, if we're still around, the technology for drones is going to go through the roof and drop like crazy too. Like being able to have fleets of drones. You know, you've been watching that in the Olympics now when they do the drone demonstrations for the athletes and stuff. I mean, that was a couple of years ago, man. Technology is just flying when it comes to this kind of stuff. And the mini drones you can get the military use now that are about this big. They can send them all over the place. Imagine having one of those in your pocket and all of a sudden something comes up to you and scares the hell out of you and runs away. Like you said, 3 seconds or whatever, pull it out and send that little thing up there.
I liked the stories of the ones where they just attach, you know, claws and arms and things, and were flying them around.
Yeah, well, I think if you use the thing when they use those little droplet bombs, right, that you were talking about, they put them underneath the drones, and I thought, why don't you do that with a tranquilizer? It's a Sasquatch.
Yeah, they're like incredibly accurate too, man. Like right through a sunroof. It's like, damn.
Yeah, totally. Because we know they all drive with sunroofs.
Yeah. Well, they're like as wide as a sunroof.
Not Australia. Yeah, I think it's an Australian commercial. Sasquatch is stealing people's cars, tourist cars. It's a commercial. It's funny. There's a set of them. But anyways, thanks for having us on, Matt. Again, that was excellent. That video was upgraded. It up everyone's visuals. Everything you did about that video was just brilliant, I thought. Yeah, it's great to see.
Well, I appreciate it. I was just trying to keep it to the subject. I wasn't bringing you guys on to say whether or not I did a good job or not. I had
you need to hear that, because that was a good job. That wasn't just a normal show. That's a history. That's one for our archives or our resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to end it. I wanted to keep it clean and just whatever the babble was and leave it at that. But there were some good points I made on Pat's show too. I was on the last 8 minutes when he did his, and the rant continued there. But it's just been one of those months where, you know, you come home and you want to relax and you turn on something, and it's now everything I turn on, you know, just
I know.
Just literally,
like said, I can't stand coming back on here. I was talking to people about it. I just can't. I mean, I just dropped it 6 times, 9 times, and you know, like my reality's totally shifted. I can't deal with the pretend anymore.
It's kind of like when you got your phone on, you're sitting here and your wife walks up and you kind of go like that. And what are you doing? Watching Bigfoot channels again? I went, no, I'm watching porn. Is that okay?
Yeah. They're not an addict. What do you mean?
It's almost bet. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten. You know, should probably prefer me.
Yeah.
Join the Bigfoot channel.
Yeah, totally. That's funny.
But you know, I'm not here to pick on anybody. That's what you know, we got good channels that do that. And a year ago I didn't understand that, and you guys know that. I just felt like we should all be nice to everybody. And I plan to do that. I did the example on myself on my own shooting. And if people take to offense to it or think I was talking at them, they probably know that I probably was. So that's all I can say to that. So,
oh, that's good.
I'm not going to worry about it.
They're not the right audience, anyways. Again,
yeah. If they didn't understand it, they're never going to understand it. I mean, they're they're probably paying the money.
Oops, there's a lot of big going on there.
So guys, I appreciate it. And thanks for your tutelage over the last couple of years. I appreciate each and every one of you because I've watched your channels, and so in some way, some form, it did sink in. And so,
thanks for being shining star. Thanks for being a shining star.
It's pretty much your collective fault.
Oh, yeah. Oh
my God, this is what our pupils are running with. Oh, no.
Get away!
No, I just wish we had these.
About out of this tonight, so that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I just wish we had these discussions like 5-6 years ago when we got into this subject. How much further we would be along. It's like you said, this has only been like really kind of in the move for like the last year or two, and man, it just seems like it's going in a good place because you know, I think that people are kind of I think people are kind of seeing through all the shenanigans and BS now and want something more solid. So
that's what you should have for a logo is something about shenanigans, because that's your favorite line to use.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
kids with your shenanigans.
Bigfoot shenanigans. Maybe I should start a new Bigfoot channel called Bigfoot Shenanigans.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Talk about all the shenanigans.
So I just want to point this out. Iron Dogger, they are going. Bigfoot Odyssey is coming back tomorrow, and they're going to do their tribute show to Carrie. So they have been working toward that goal, and I support that 100%. So
absolutely,
sure.
And I've actually reached out to Brad and said if there's anything I can do to please let me know. Iron Dogger, same to you. Just let me know if you all need help in any way. I'll be there for you guys. So good luck with that, and just you know, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But we'll watch. We'll all be there. We got your backs.
He was a good man. Taken too soon.
Yeah. Okay. And Chessboard, thanks all you guys. So appreciate it. Well, guys, thank you. And let's see if we made any traction. And you know, maybe I'll have a bunch of comments and we'll at least know where it falls. But it may be too soon, or it may be the right timing for it. I don't know.
That's the right timing.
I feel better and I can move on, head down, worried about myself.
If I may say, everybody make sure you come to my show on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see if we can get the right people pissed off at me.
Oh, no.
Well, this should be a prelude for it. And I wanted to say,
and I mean that. I mean the right people pissed off at me, because if they're the people that are going to get pissed off at what I'm going to do the show on, then they're not the type of people that I'm trying to reach.
So, that's a tease and a half. But I also wanted to tell Nikki, she wanted me to play something. I did watch it. It's great, but that I want you to share that. I didn't want to.
Yeah. She just sent it to me.
Bury it on my channel. Yeah.
She just sent it to me, and I haven't heard it yet, but I seen the video she did. It's pretty funny from what it visually looked like. So
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed to worry about seeing it.
No, I've upset Patrick Vaughn. Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, with that, thank you, gents. I appreciate it, and
you good to see you again.
Have a good one. Okay, I'm gonna end this on 3. What?
No, I'm just saying good night to people. Different names, you know, because there's different names here. That's all I'm doing. I'm just saying good night. That's it. That's it. Go ahead, finish your show. I just said night.
Okay. Well, Brent, Joe, Old Bear, Steve, Leon, thank you so much. We're out.
Absolutely.